सीज़न उतना अच्छा रहा नहीं है और अगर आप इनके लास्ट 5 मैचेस देखोगे तो सिर्फ एक मैच में जीत मिली है और 4 मैच में जो है हार का सामना करना पड़ा है। वहीं दूसरी तरफ हम बात करें मिडलसेक्स की तो इस टीम के लिए कह सकते हैं एवरेज सीजन है, क्योंकि लास्ट 5 मैचेस जो खेले हैं उसमें से सिर्फ जो है 3 मुकाबले जीते हैं और 2 मुकाबलों में हार का सामना किया। तो देखना होगा दोस्तों आज के मैच में कौन सी टीम किस पे भारी पड़ेगी, बट ओवरऑल एक एक्साइटिंग मैच जो है हमें आज देखने को मिलने वाला है। और अगर आपको इस मैच की श्योर विनर रिपोर्ट चाहिए तो आप हमें टेलीग्राम पे बस एक मैसेज कर देना, आपको हमारी ओर से इंस्टेंटली श्योर रिपोर्ट प्रोवाइड कर दिया जाएगा। चलिए भाइयों आगे बढ़ते हैं और यहाँ पे दोनों ही टीम्स के की प्लेयर्स पर एक बार नजर डालते हैं। सबसे पहले बात करें हैम्पशायर के की प्लेयर्स की तो इसमें पहला नाम जो है दोस्तों वो आप लोग ऑलरेडी गेस कर चुके होंगे दोस्तों। मैं बात कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे जेम्स विंस की, जो कि इस टीम के वन ऑफ द बेस्ट बैट्समैन है, काफ़ी एक्सपीरियंस है इनके पास। तो देखना होगा कि आज के मैच में जब बल्लेबाजी करने के लिए आएंगे तो किस तरीके से परफॉर्म करते हैं। इनके बाद दूसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के बेन मैकडॉर्मेंट, जो कि विकेट कीपर बैट्समैन है और पिछला साल इनका अगर आपने देखा होगा तो बहुत ही अच्छा रहा था, चाहे वो बिग बैश लीग हो या वाइटलिटी T20 ब्लास्ट हो। ये सीजन ऑन एवरेज बल्लेबाजी करी है, बट देखते हैं कि आज के मैच में बेन मैकडॉर्मेंट किस तरीके से खेलते हैं, क्योंकि ये पिच जो है बल्लेबाजों के लिए बहुत ही अच्छा है। इनके बाद तीसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के जे फुलर, जो कि पेशे से ऑलराउंडर हैं। लोअर मिडल ऑर्डर में आपको बल्लेबाजी करते हुए नजर आएंगे और 2 से 3 ओवर गेंदबाजी भी करने वाले हैं। इन टोटल अगर आप देखोगे तो ये ठीक ठाक परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं और उम्मीद है कि वैसे ही परफॉर्म आगे भी करते रहेंगे। चलिए बात करते हैं यहाँ पे दूसरी टीम यानी कि मिडलसेक्स के की प्लेयर्स की, जिसमें पहला नाम जो है दोस्तों वो है क्रिस ग्रीन का, जो कि इस टीम के बेहतरीन ऑलराउंडर हैं। गेंदबाजी तो इनकी कमाल की है, बट अभी पिछले कुछ मैचेस अगर आप देख रहे हो तो आपको पता होगा कि वहाँ पे जो है ठीक ठाक बल्लेबाजी भी कर रहे हैं। इनके बाद दूसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के एस किनाजी, जो कि एक बेहतरीन बल्लेबाज हैं, टॉप ऑर्डर में नॉर्मली आते हैं खेलने के लिए और अपनी टीम के लिए जो है काफ़ी बढ़िया बल्लेबाजी कर चुके हैं और ऑलरेडी जो है रन बनाते आ रहे हैं। तो उम्मीद है कि वही कंसिस्टेंसी के साथ जो है आगे भी बल्लेबाजी करते रहेंगे। ओवरऑल मैंने आपको दोनों ही टीम्स के की प्लेयर्स बता दिए, अब आप इसके बेसिस पे अपनी बढ़िया सी फैंटेसी टीम तैयार कर सकते हैं। लेकिन आपको अगर अभी भी डाउट है किसको टीम में रखना किसको नहीं, तो आप हमारा टेलीग्राम ग्रुप ज्वाइन कर लो, क्योंकि वहाँ पर आपको एक्सपर्ट्स द्वारा फैंटेसी टीम प्रोवाइड की जाती है। लिंक जो है दोस्तों आपको हमारे टेलीग्राम का वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा, तो जाइए और ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। और अगर आप हमारे पुराने मेंबर हो तो आपको पता होगा कि टेलीग्राम पे जो मैं टीम शेयर करता हूं वो काफ़ी बेनिफिशियल होती है। हाल ही में जो टीम मैंने दी थी उससे हमारे यूजर्स ने जो है विजन 11 पे आई गेस 1 लाख से ऊपर की विनिंग करी है। अगर आपको भी अच्छी खासी विनिंग करनी है फैंटेसी क्रिकेट की दुनिया में तो जाइए और अभी के अभी हमारे टेलीग्राम ग्रुप को ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। लिंक जो है दोस्तों आप लोगों को वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। आगे बढ़ने से पहले दोस्तों मैं आप लोगों को एक ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म के बारे में बताने वाला हूं जहां पे आप लोग बिना इन्वेस्टमेंट के अच्छी खासी विनिंग कर सकते हैं। मैं बात कर रहा हूं दोस्तों प्रोबो की। ये एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जहां पर आप लोगों को बस कुछ सवालों के जवाब देने होते हैं और वो सारे सवाल जो है दोस्तों क्रिकेट मैच, फुटबॉल मैचेस से रिलेटेड होते हैं, जैसे कि कौन सी टीम आज का ये मुकाबला जीतेगी, कौन सबसे ज़्यादा छक्के मारेंगे। आपको बस इन क्वेश्चन के जवाब देने और आप लोग जो है रियल मनी जीत सकते हो। तो किसका इंतजार कर रहे हो, जाओ अभी के अभी प्रोबो पे और इन सिंपल क्वेश्चन के आंसर करो और अच्छा खासा पैसा कमा लो। आपको बता दूं कि अगर आप हमारे लिंक से जाके डाउनलोड करते हो तो आप लोगों को जो है हमारी ओर से 25 रुपीज़ रियल मनी मिलेगा, जिसके चलते आप खेलना शुरू कर सकते हो। तो भाई जाओ और डाउनलोड करो अभी के अभी, लिंक आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। और अगर अभी तक आपने वीडियो को लाइक नहीं करा तो भाई एक लाइक जरूर कर लेना और साथ ही में हमारे चैनल को जो है सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए, ताकि आप हमारे साथ रोजाना लाइव मैचेस देख सकें बॉल बाय बॉल कमेंट्री के साथ। काफ़ी लोग हमारे साथ अभी थोड़ी देर पहले ही जुड़े हैं, तो सभी लोगों का हमारे चैनल पे स्वागत है। जैसे कि आप जानते हैं आज वाइटलिटी T20 ब्लास्ट का एक बहुत ही बड़ा मुकाबला है जो कि खेला जाएगा मिडलसेक्स बनाम हैम्पशायर के बीच में। और ये मुकाबला इसलिए काफ़ी खास है क्योंकि इन दोनों ही टीम्स के लिए सीजन अभी तक जो है दोस्तों ठीक ठाक रहा है, बट देखना ये होगा कि आज के मैच में जब ये दोनों टीम सामने सामने होगी तो कौन सी टीम किस पे भारी पड़ती है। और अभी मुकाबला शुरू होने में थोड़ा समय बाकी है, तो मैं आपको दोनों ही टीम्स की कुछ ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें बताने वाला हूँ जो कि आप लोगों के लिए काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट और बेनिफिशियल हो सकता है। तो बने रहिएगा हमारे साथ। अगर अभी तक आपने वीडियो को लाइक नहीं करा है तो जल्दी से वीडियो को लाइक कर दो और साथ ही में हमारे चैनल को जो है सब्सक्राइब जरूर कर लेना, ताकि आप हमारे साथ रोजाना लाइव मैचेस देख सकें बॉल बाय बॉल कमेंट्री के साथ। सबसे पहले दोस्तों बात करें वेन्यू की, तो आपको बता दूं कि आज का ये मुकाबला खेला जाएगा रेड लेड क्रिकेट स्टेडियम में। और यहाँ की अगर हम पिच की बात करें तो आपको बता दूं कि यहाँ का पिच बल्लेबाजी करने के लिए काफ़ी अच्छा है और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो भी टीम पहले बल्लेबाजी करेगी वो 20 ओवर में जो है 170 से ऊपर का स्कोर आराम से बना सकती है। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं और दोनों ही टीम्स के रीसेंट फॉर्म पर एक बार नजर डालते हैं। सबसे पहले दोस्तों बात करें यहाँ पे हैम्पशायर की, तो देखो हैम्पशायर के लिए सीजन उतना अच्छा रहा नहीं है और अगर आप इनके लास्ट 5 मैचेस देखोगे तो सिर्फ एक मैच में जीत मिली है और 4 मैच में जो है हार का सामना करना पड़ा है। वहीं दूसरी तरफ हम बात करें मिडलसेक्स की, तो इस टीम के लिए कह सकते हैं एवरेज सीजन है, क्योंकि लास्ट 5 मैचेस जो खेले हैं उसमें से सिर्फ जो है 3 मुकाबले जीते हैं और 2 मुकाबलों में हार का सामना किया। तो देखना होगा दोस्तों आज के मैच में कौन सी टीम किस पे भारी पड़ेगी, बट ओवरऑल एक एक्साइटिंग मैच जो है हमें आज देखने को मिलने वाला है। और अगर आपको इस मैच की श्योर विनर रिपोर्ट चाहिए तो आप हमें टेलीग्राम पे बस एक मैसेज कर देना, आपको हमारी ओर से इंस्टेंटली श्योर रिपोर्ट प्रोवाइड कर दिया जाएगा। चलिए भाइयों आगे बढ़ते हैं और यहाँ पे दोनों ही टीम्स के की प्लेयर्स पर एक बार नजर डालते हैं। सबसे पहले बात करें हैम्पशायर के की प्लेयर्स की, तो इसमें पहला नाम जो है दोस्तों वो आप लोग ऑलरेडी गेस कर चुके होंगे दोस्तों। मैं बात कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे जेम्स विंस की, जो कि इस टीम के वन ऑफ द बेस्ट बैट्समैन है, काफ़ी एक्सपीरियंस है इनके पास। तो देखना होगा कि आज के मैच में जब बल्लेबाजी करने के लिए आएंगे तो किस तरीके से परफॉर्म करते हैं। इनके बाद दूसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के बेन मैकडॉर्मेंट, जो कि विकेट कीपर बैट्समैन है और पिछला साल इनका अगर आपने देखा होगा तो बहुत ही अच्छा रहा था, चाहे वो बिग बैश लीग हो या वाइटलिटी T20 ब्लास्ट हो। ये सीजन ऑन एवरेज बल्लेबाजी करी है, बट देखते हैं कि आज के मैच में बेन मैकडॉर्मेंट किस तरीके से खेलते हैं, क्योंकि ये पिच जो है बल्लेबाजों के लिए बहुत ही अच्छा है। इनके बाद तीसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के जे फुलर, जो कि पेशे से ऑलराउंडर हैं। लोअर मिडल ऑर्डर में आपको बल्लेबाजी करते हुए नजर आएंगे और 2 से 3 ओवर गेंदबाजी भी करने वाले हैं। इन टोटल अगर आप देखोगे तो ये ठीक ठाक परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं और उम्मीद है कि वैसे ही परफॉर्म आगे भी करते रहेंगे। चलिए बात करते हैं यहाँ पे दूसरी टीम यानी कि मिडलसेक्स के की प्लेयर्स की, जिसमें पहला नाम जो है दोस्तों वो है क्रिस ग्रीन का, जो कि इस टीम के बेहतरीन ऑलराउंडर हैं। गेंदबाजी तो इनकी कमाल की है, बट अभी पिछले कुछ मैचेस अगर आप देख रहे हो तो आपको पता होगा कि वहाँ पे जो है ठीक ठाक बल्लेबाजी भी कर रहे हैं। इनके बाद दूसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के एस किनाजी, जो कि एक बेहतरीन बल्लेबाज हैं, टॉप ऑर्डर में नॉर्मली आते हैं खेलने के लिए और अपनी टीम के लिए जो है काफ़ी बढ़िया बल्लेबाजी कर चुके हैं और ऑलरेडी जो है रन बनाते आ रहे हैं। तो उम्मीद है कि वही कंसिस्टेंसी के साथ जो है आगे भी बल्लेबाजी करते रहेंगे। ओवरऑल मैंने आपको दोनों ही टीम्स के की प्लेयर्स बता दिए, अब आप इसके बेसिस पे अपनी बढ़िया सी फैंटेसी टीम तैयार कर सकते हैं। लेकिन आपको अगर अभी भी डाउट है किसको टीम में रखना किसको नहीं, तो आप हमारा टेलीग्राम ग्रुप ज्वाइन कर लो, क्योंकि वहाँ पर आपको एक्सपर्ट्स द्वारा फैंटेसी टीम प्रोवाइड की जाती है। लिंक जो है दोस्तों आपको हमारे टेलीग्राम का वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा, तो जाइए और ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। और अगर आप हमारे पुराने मेंबर हो तो आपको पता होगा कि टेलीग्राम पे जो मैं टीम शेयर करता हूं वो काफ़ी बेनिफिशियल होती है। हाल ही में जो टीम मैंने दी थी उससे हमारे यूजर्स ने जो है विजन 11 पे आई गेस 1 लाख से ऊपर की विनिंग करी है। अगर आपको भी अच्छी खासी विनिंग करनी है फैंटेसी क्रिकेट की दुनिया में तो जाइए और अभी के अभी हमारे टेलीग्राम ग्रुप को ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। लिंक जो है दोस्तों आप लोगों को वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। आगे बढ़ने से पहले दोस्तों मैं आप लोगों को एक ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म के बारे में बताने वाला हूं जहां पे आप लोग बिना इन्वेस्टमेंट के अच्छी खासी विनिंग कर सकते हैं। मैं बात कर रहा हूं दोस्तों प्रोबो की। ये एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जहां पर आप लोगों को बस कुछ सवालों के जवाब देने होते हैं और वो सारे सवाल जो है दोस्तों क्रिकेट मैच फुटबॉल मैचेस से रिलेटेड होते हैं, जैसे कि कौन सी टीम आज का ये मुकाबला जीतेगी, कौन सबसे ज़्यादा छक्के मारेंगे। आपको बस इन क्वेश्चन के जवाब देने और आप लोग जो है रियल मनी जीत सकते हो। तो किसका इंतजार कर रहे हो, जाओ अभी के अभी प्रोबो पे और इन सिंपल क्वेश्चन के आंसर करो और अच्छा खासा पैसा कमा लो। आपको बता दूं कि अगर आप हमारे लिंक से जाके डाउनलोड करते हो तो आप लोगों को जो है हमारी ओर से 25 रुपीज़ रियल मनी मिलेगा, जिसके चलते आप खेलना शुरू कर सकते हो। तो भाई जाओ और डाउनलोड करो अभी के अभी, लिंक आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। और अगर अभी तक आपने वीडियो को लाइक नहीं करा तो भाई एक लाइक जरूर कर लेना और साथ ही में हमारे चैनल को जो है सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए, ताकि आप हमारे साथ रोजाना लाइव मैचेस देख सकें बॉल बाय बॉल कमेंट्री के साथ। काफ़ी लोग हमारे साथ अभी थोड़ी देर पहले ही जुड़े हैं, तो सभी लोगों का हमारे चैनल पे स्वागत है। जैसे कि आप जानते हैं आज वाइटलिटी T20 ब्लास्ट का एक बहुत ही बड़ा मुकाबला है जो कि खेला जाएगा मिडलसेक्स बनाम हैम्पशायर के बीच में। और ये मुकाबला इसलिए काफ़ी खास है क्योंकि इन दोनों ही टीम्स के लिए सीजन अभी तक जो है दोस्तों ठीक ठाक रहा है, बट देखना ये होगा कि आज के मैच में जब ये दोनों टीम सामने सामने होगी तो कौन सी टीम किस पे भारी पड़ती है। और अभी मुकाबला शुरू होने में थोड़ा समय बाकी है, तो मैं आपको दोनों ही टीम्स की कुछ ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें बताने वाला हूँ जो कि आप लोगों के लिए काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट और बेनिफिशियल हो सकता है। तो बने रहिएगा हमारे साथ। अगर अभी तक आपने वीडियो को लाइक नहीं करा है तो जल्दी से वीडियो को लाइक कर दो और साथ ही में हमारे चैनल को जो है सब्सक्राइब जरूर कर लेना, ताकि आप हमारे साथ रोजाना लाइव मैचेस देख सकें बॉल बाय बॉल कमेंट्री के साथ। सबसे पहले दोस्तों बात करें वेन्यू की, तो आपको बता दूं कि आज का ये मुकाबला खेला जाएगा रेड लेड क्रिकेट स्टेडियम में। और यहाँ की अगर हम पिच की बात करें तो आपको बता दूं कि यहाँ का पिच बल्लेबाजी करने के लिए काफ़ी अच्छा है और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो भी टीम पहले बल्लेबाजी करेगी वो 20 ओवर में जो है 170 से ऊपर का स्कोर आराम से बना सकती है। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं और दोनों ही टीम्स के रीसेंट फॉर्म पर एक बार नजर डालते हैं। सबसे पहले दोस्तों बात करें यहाँ पे हैम्पशायर की, तो देखो हैम्पशायर के लिए सीजन उतना अच्छा रहा नहीं है और अगर आप इनके लास्ट 5 मैचेस देखोगे तो सिर्फ 1 मैच में जीत मिली है और 4 मैच में जो है हार का सामना करना पड़ा है। वहीं दूसरी तरफ हम बात करें मिडलसेक्स की, तो इस टीम के लिए कह सकते हैं एवरेज सीजन है, क्योंकि लास्ट 5 मैचेस जो खेले हैं उसमें से सिर्फ जो है 3 मुकाबले जीते हैं और 2 मुकाबलों में हार का सामना किया। तो देखना होगा दोस्तों आज के मैच में कौन सी टीम किस पे भारी पड़ेगी, बट ओवरऑल एक एक्साइटिंग मैच जो है हमें आज देखने को मिलने वाला है। और अगर आपको इस मैच की श्योर विनर रिपोर्ट चाहिए तो आप हमें टेलीग्राम पे बस एक मैसेज कर देना, आपको हमारी ओर से इंस्टेंटली श्योर रिपोर्ट प्रोवाइड कर दिया जाएगा। चलिए भाइयों आगे बढ़ते हैं और यहाँ पे दोनों ही टीम्स के की प्लेयर्स पर एक बार नजर डालते हैं। सबसे पहले बात करें हैम्पशायर के की प्लेयर्स की, तो इसमें पहला नाम जो है दोस्तों वो आप लोग ऑलरेडी गेस कर चुके होंगे दोस्तों। मैं बात कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे जेम्स विंस की, जो कि इस टीम के वन ऑफ द बेस्ट बैट्समैन है, काफ़ी एक्सपीरियंस है इनके पास। तो देखना होगा कि आज के मैच में जब बल्लेबाजी करने के लिए आएंगे तो किस तरीके से परफॉर्म करते हैं। इनके बाद दूसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के बेन मैकडॉर्मेट, जो कि विकेट कीपर बैट्समैन है और पिछला साल इनका अगर आपने देखा होगा तो बहुत ही अच्छा रहा था, चाहे वो बिग बैश लीग हो या वाइटलिटी T20 ब्लास्ट हो। ये सीज़न ऑन एवरेज बल्लेबाजी करी है, बट देखते हैं कि आज के मैच में बेन मैकडॉर्मेट किस तरीके से खेलते हैं, क्योंकि ये पिच जो है बल्लेबाजों के लिए बहुत ही अच्छा है। इनके बाद तीसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के जे फुलर, जो कि पेशे से ऑलराउंडर हैं। लोअर मिडल ऑर्डर में आपको बल्लेबाजी करते हुए नजर आएंगे और 2 से 3 ओवर गेंदबाजी भी करने वाले हैं। इन टोटल अगर आप देखोगे तो ये ठीक ठाक परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं और उम्मीद है कि वैसे ही परफॉर्म आगे भी करते रहेंगे। चलिए बात करते हैं यहाँ पे दूसरी टीम यानी कि मिडलसेक्स के की प्लेयर्स की, जिसमें पहला नाम जो है दोस्तों वो है क्रिस ग्रीन का, जो कि इस टीम के बेहतरीन ऑलराउंडर हैं। गेंदबाजी तो इनकी कमाल की है, बट अभी पिछले कुछ मैचेस अगर आप देख रहे हो तो आपको पता होगा कि वहाँ पे जो है ठीक ठाक बल्लेबाजी भी कर रहे हैं। इनके बाद दूसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के एस की नाजी, जो कि एक बेहतरीन बल्लेबाज हैं। टॉप ऑर्डर में नॉर्मली आते हैं खेलने के लिए और अपनी टीम के लिए जो है काफ़ी बढ़िया बल्लेबाजी कर चुके हैं और ऑलरेडी जो है रन बनाते आ रहे हैं। तो उम्मीद है कि वही कंसिस्टेंसी के साथ जो है आगे भी बल्लेबाजी करते रहेंगे। ओवरऑल मैंने आपको दोनों ही टीम्स के की प्लेयर्स बता दिए। अब आप इसके बेसिस पे अपनी बढ़िया सी फैंटेसी टीम तैयार कर सकते हैं। लेकिन आपको अगर अभी भी डाउट है किसको टीम में रखना है किसको नहीं, तो आप हमारा टेलीग्राम ग्रुप ज्वाइन कर लो, क्योंकि वहाँ पे आपको एक्सपर्ट्स द्वारा फैंटेसी टीम प्रोवाइड की जाती है। लिंक जो है दोस्तों आपको हमारे टेलीग्राम का वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा, तो जाइए और ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। और अगर आप हमारे पुराने मेंबर हो तो आपको पता होगा कि टेलीग्राम पे जो मैं टीम शेयर करता हूं वो काफ़ी बेनिफिशियल होती है। हाल ही में जो टीम मैंने दी थी उससे हमारे यूजर्स ने जो है विजन 11 पे आई गेस 1 लाख से ऊपर की विनिंग करी है। अगर आपको भी अच्छी खासी विनिंग करनी है फैंटेसी क्रिकेट की दुनिया में तो जाइए और अभी के अभी हमारे टेलीग्राम ग्रुप को ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। लिंक जो है दोस्तों आप लोगों को वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। आगे बढ़ने से पहले दोस्तों मैं आप लोगों को एक ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म के बारे में बताने वाला हूं जहां पे आप लोग बिना इन्वेस्टमेंट के अच्छी खासी विनिंग कर सकते हैं। मैं बात कर रहा हूं दोस्तों प्रोबो की। ये एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जहां पर आप लोगों को बस कुछ सवालों के जवाब देने होते हैं और वो सारे सवाल जो है दोस्तों क्रिकेट मैच फुटबॉल मैचेस से रिलेटेड होते हैं, जैसे कि कौन सी टीम आज का ये मुकाबला जीतेगी, कौन सबसे ज़्यादा छक्के मारेंगे। आपको बस इन क्वेश्चन के जवाब देने और आप लोग जो है रियल मनी जीत सकते हो। तो किसका इंतजार कर रहे हो, जाओ अभी के अभी प्रोबो पे और इन सिंपल क्वेश्चन के आंसर करो और अच्छा खासा पैसा कमा लो। आपको बता दूं कि अगर आप हमारे लिंक से जाके डाउनलोड करते हो तो आप लोगों को जो है हमारी ओर से 25 रुपीज़ रियल मनी मिलेगा, जिसके चलते आप खेलना शुरू कर सकते हो। तो भाई जाओ और डाउनलोड करो अभी के अभी, लिंक आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। और अगर अभी तक आपने वीडियो को लाइक नहीं करा तो भाई एक लाइक जरूर कर लेना और साथ ही में हमारे चैनल को जो है सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए, ताकि आप हमारे साथ रोजाना लाइव मैचेस देख सकें बॉल बाय बॉल कमेंट्री के साथ। काफ़ी लोग हमारे साथ अभी थोड़ी देर पहले ही जुड़े हैं, तो सभी लोगों का हमारे चैनल पे स्वागत है। जैसा कि आप जानते हैं आज वाइटलिटी T20 ब्लास्ट का एक बहुत ही बड़ा मुकाबला है जो कि खेला जाएगा मिडलसेक्स बनाम हैम्पशायर के बीच में। और ये मुकाबला इसलिए काफ़ी खास है क्योंकि इन दोनों ही टीम्स के लिए सीजन अभी तक जो है दोस्तों ठीक ठाक रहा है, बट देखना ये होगा कि आज के मैच में जब ये दोनों टीम सामने सामने होगी तो कौन सी टीम किस पे भारी पड़ती है। और अभी मुकाबला शुरू होने में थोड़ा समय बाकी है, तो मैं आपको दोनों ही टीम्स की कुछ ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें बताने वाला हूँ जो कि आप लोगों के लिए काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट और बेनिफिशियल हो सकता है। तो बने रहिएगा हमारे साथ। अगर अभी तक आपने वीडियो को लाइक नहीं करा है तो जल्दी से वीडियो को लाइक कर दो और साथ ही में हमारे चैनल को जो है सब्सक्राइब जरूर कर लेना, ताकि आप हमारे साथ रोजाना लाइव मैचेस देख सकें बॉल बाय बॉल कमेंट्री के साथ। सबसे पहले दोस्तों बात करें वेन्यू की, तो आपको बता दूं कि आज का ये मुकाबला खेला जाएगा रेड क्रिकेट स्टेडियम में। और यहाँ की अगर हम पिच की बात करें तो आपको बता दूं कि यहाँ का पिच बल्लेबाजी करने के लिए काफ़ी अच्छा है और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो भी टीम पहले बल्लेबाजी करेगी वो 20 ओवर में जो है 170 से ऊपर का स्कोर आराम से बना सकती है। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं और दोनों ही टीम्स के रीसेंट फॉर्म पर एक बार नजर डालते हैं। सबसे पहले दोस्तों बात करें यहाँ पे हैम्पशायर की, तो देखो हैम्पशायर के लिए सीजन उतना अच्छा रहा नहीं है और अगर आप इनके लास्ट 5 मैचेस देखोगे तो सिर्फ 1 मैच में जीत मिली है और 4 मैच में जो है हार का सामना करना पड़ा है। वहीं दूसरी तरफ हम बात करें मिडलसेक्स की, तो इस टीम के लिए कह सकते हैं एवरेज सीजन है, क्योंकि लास्ट 5 मैचेस जो खेले हैं उसमें से सिर्फ जो है 3 मुकाबले जीते हैं और 2 मुकाबलों में हार का सामना किया। तो देखना होगा दोस्तों आज के मैच में कौन सी टीम किस पे भारी पड़ेगी, बट ओवरऑल एक एक्साइटिंग मैच जो है हमें आज देखने को मिलने वाला है। और अगर आपको इस मैच की श्योर विनर रिपोर्ट चाहिए तो आप हमें टेलीग्राम पे बस एक मैसेज कर देना, आपको हमारी ओर से इंस्टेंटली श्योर रिपोर्ट प्रोवाइड कर दिया जाएगा। चलिए भाइयों आगे बढ़ते हैं और यहाँ पे दोनों ही टीम्स के की प्लेयर्स पर एक बार नजर डालते हैं। सबसे पहले बात करें हैम्पशायर के की प्लेयर्स की, तो इसमें पहला नाम जो है दोस्तों वो आप लोग ऑलरेडी गेस कर चुके होंगे। दोस्तों मैं बात कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे जेम्स विंस की, जो कि इस टीम के वन ऑफ द बेस्ट बैट्समैन है, काफ़ी एक्सपीरियंस है इनके पास। तो देखना होगा कि आज के मैच में जब बल्लेबाजी करने के लिए आएंगे तो किस तरीके से परफॉर्म करते हैं। इनके बाद दूसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के बेन मैकडॉर्मेंट जो कि विकेट कीपर बैट्समैन है और पिछला साल इनका अगर आपने देखा होगा तो बहुत ही अच्छा रहा था, चाहे वो बिग बैश लीग हो या वाइटलिटी T20 ब्लास्ट हो। ये सीज़न ऑन एवरेज बल्लेबाजी करी है, बट देखते हैं कि आज के मैच में बेन मैकडॉर्मेंट किस तरीके से खेलते हैं, क्योंकि ये पिच जो है बल्लेबाजों के लिए बहुत ही अच्छा है। इनके बाद तीसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के जे फुलर, जो कि पेशे से ऑलराउंडर हैं। लोअर मिडल ऑर्डर में आपको बल्लेबाजी करते हुए नजर आएंगे और 2 से 3 ओवर गेंदबाजी भी करने वाले हैं। इन टोटल अगर आप देखोगे तो ये ठीक ठाक परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं और उम्मीद है कि वैसे ही परफॉर्म आगे भी करते रहेंगे। चलिए बात करते हैं यहाँ पे दूसरी टीम यानी कि मिडलसेक्स के की प्लेयर्स की, जिसमें पहला नाम जो है दोस्तों वो है क्रिस ग्रीन का, जो कि इस टीम के बेहतरीन ऑलराउंडर हैं। गेंदबाजी तो इनकी कमाल की है, बट अभी पिछले कुछ मैचेस अगर आप देख रहे हो तो आपको पता होगा कि वहाँ पे जो है ठीक ठाक बल्लेबाजी भी कर रहे हैं। इनके बाद दूसरे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर हैं दोस्तों इस टीम के एस-एस्किनाजी, जो कि एक बेहतरीन बल्लेबाज हैं। टॉप ऑर्डर में नॉर्मली आते हैं खेलने के लिए और अपनी टीम के लिए जो है काफ़ी बढ़िया बल्लेबाजी कर चुके हैं और ऑलरेडी जो है रन बनाते आ रहे हैं। तो उम्मीद है कि वही कंसिस्टेंसी के साथ जो है आगे भी बल्लेबाजी करते रहेंगे। ओवरऑल मैंने आपको दोनों ही टीम्स के की प्लेयर्स बता दिए, अब आप इसके बेसिस पे अपनी बढ़िया सी फैंटेसी टीम तैयार कर सकते हैं। लेकिन आपको अगर अभी भी डाउट है किसको टीम में रखना है किसको नहीं, तो आप हमारा टेलीग्राम ग्रुप ज्वाइन कर लो, क्योंकि वहाँ पर आपको एक्सपर्ट्स द्वारा फैंटेसी टीम प्रोवाइड की जाती है। लिंक जो है दोस्तों आपको हमारे टेलीग्राम का वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा, तो जाइए और ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। और अगर आप हमारे पुराने मेंबर हो तो आपको पता होगा कि टेलीग्राम पे जो मैं टीम शेयर करता हूं वो काफ़ी बेनिफिशियल होती है। हाल ही में जो टीम मैंने दी थी उससे हमारे यूजर्स ने जो है विजन 11 पे आई गेस 1 लाख से ऊपर की विनिंग करी है। अगर आपको भी अच्छी खासी विनिंग करनी है फैंटेसी क्रिकेट की दुनिया में तो जाइए और अभी के अभी हमारे टेलीग्राम ग्रुप को ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। लिंक जो है दोस्तों आप लोगों को वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। आगे बढ़ने से पहले दोस्तों मैं आप लोगों को एक ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म के बारे में बताने वाला हूं जहां पे आप लोग बिना इन्वेस्टमेंट के अच्छी खासी विनिंग कर सकते हैं। मैं बात कर रहा हूं दोस्तों प्रोबो की। ये एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जहां पर आप लोगों को बस कुछ सवालों के जवाब देने होते हैं और वो सारे सवाल जो है दोस्तों क्रिकेट मैच फुटबॉल मैचेस से रिलेटेड होते हैं, जैसे कि कौन सी टीम आज का ये मुकाबला जीतेगी, कौन सबसे ज़्यादा छक्के मारेंगे। आपको बस इन क्वेश्चन के जवाब देने और आप लोग जो है रियल मनी जीत सकते हो। तो किसका इंतजार कर रहे हो, जाओ अभी के अभी प्रोबो पे और इन सिंपल क्वेश्चन के आंसर करो और अच्छा खासा पैसा कमा लो। आपको बता दूं कि अगर आप हमारे लिंक से जाके डाउनलोड करते हो तो आप लोगों को जो है हमारी ओर से 25 रुपीज़ रियल मनी मिलेगा, जिसके चलते आप खेलना शुरू कर सकते हो। तो भाई जाओ और डाउनलोड करो अभी के अभी, लिंक आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। और अगर अभी तक आपने वीडियो को लाइक नहीं करा तो भाई एक लाइक जरूर कर लेना और साथ ही में हमारे चैनल को जो है सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए, ताकि आप हमारे साथ रोजाना लाइव मैचेस देख सकें बॉल बाय बॉल कमेंट्री के साथ। काफ़ी लोग हमारे साथ अभी थोड़ी देर पहले ही जुड़े हैं, तो सभी लोगों का हमारे चैनल पे स्वागत है। जैसा कि आप जानते हैं आज वाइटलिटी T20 ब्लास्ट का एक बहुत ही बड़ा मुकाबला है जो कि खेला जाएगा मिडलसेक्स बनाम हैम्पशायर के बीच में। और ये मुकाबला इसलिए काफ़ी खास है क्योंकि इन दोनों ही टीम्स के लिए सीजन अभी तक जो है दोस्तों ठीक ठाक रहा है, बट देखना ये होगा कि आज के मैच में जब ये दोनों टीम सामने सामने होगी तो कौन सी टीम किस पे भारी पड़ती है। और अभी मुकाबला शुरू
They were semi-finalists last year in the Blast, but they are still bottom of the table. They won their first game of the season in their previous game off the back of a really good opening partnership between James Vince and Ben McDermott, the highest opening partnership for Hampshire ever in the T20 Blast. But I think Middlesex will still fancy their chances here, even though they're batting first. I think they might wanted to have chased. They've been putting to bat.
Yeah, absolutely. Hampshire winning the toss. Here come our umpires this evening. Steve O'Shaughnessy and Nick Cook. Devon Malcolm, there's us in the background. Devon Malcolm you'll see coming into shot in a moment. He's the match official for this one. So Hampshire winning the toss, deciding to field. They named Ben McDermott, James Vince the captain, Tom Prest, Joe Weatherly, Toby Alberts, Ross Whiteley, James Fuller, Liam Dawson, Chris Wood, Scott Curry and Brad Wheel. So no Nathan Ellis for them, which is a big blow. He's got a slight niggle, but they're hoping that he'll be fit for Thursday. So that big news for them. Middlesex are Stephen Eskenazi as captain, Max Holden, Joe Cracknell, Martin Anderson, Jack Davies, John Simpson the wicketkeeper, Luke Holman, Chris Green, Toby Rowland-Jones is back, Tilan Wallaluita and Jason Berendorf. So yeah, Rowland-Jones was rested at Canterbury for the defeat the other evening. 3 wins to start the competition for Middlesex. A little ahead of schedule perhaps for this young side, but that's pretty much been the story of the season. But the last 2 have bit back a little bit on them.
Yeah, I think they probably surprised themselves, didn't they, by winning those first 3 games. Middlesex, we all know that historically haven't had a great record in T20. Just reached the quarterfinals twice since winning it in 2008, so very much a work in progress. It's a very young side, but I think they're learning a lot already in this competition. We're seeing the likes of Martin Anderson really sort of learn how to bowl at the death in this format, and he's improving quickly. Luke Holman, he seems like he's becoming an established T20 player, more and more established every year. Jack Davis played well in one innings earlier this season, so they're still learning, but I'm sure they would absolutely love to get through to the quarterfinals. Doesn't happen too often. Chris Wood's going to open the bowling from the pavilion end. Vastly experienced left arm seamer for Hampshire. Here we go. So 2 men out. It's an interesting ground this, isn't it, Handy? Because the square is higher than everything else. It's almost like a reverse bowl, if you can imagine that. So it really runs away down the hill in every angle from the middle. Fast outfield as well. And the pitch is generally being good, so you can expect scores close to 200. Bit of swing. Two men out to start off with, so we got man square on the boundary on the offside, same on the leg side. This is, of course, the second game on the pitch today. Handy, the Sunrisers played here earlier. Can we glean anything from that?
Yeah, I mean, over the years here, as you said, you know, this can be a really high-scoring ground. What you can occasionally see, as you can on any club track that you go around, is that the bounce perhaps sometimes isn't overly reliable. There was some really good bounce today in that fixture. It was a friendly between Vipers and Sunrisers.
Shot right out the middle of the bat, that one. That's an area where Stephen Eskenazi won't miss out. Just a nice, fairly gentle in-swinging half volley outside leg stump, went up and over.
Yeah, lovely shot that one, sweetly timed. So, yeah, there are a few that really, there was some really good climb, however.
Bit of bounce there. Bit of tennis ball-y bounce, actually. Went away from the right-handed batsman as well.
Quick single for Eskenazi. These two have been a good opening pair for Middlesex in this competition this year, which has certainly helped that start as well. Ended the first over. Or is it? They've got one to come. I'm one ahead, am I? On the score. Ah, they hadn't added on the wide, so we do still have one to come. It said overdone. But still the wide to be added. But yeah, that pitch earlier, so there were a couple you thought, oh, that's a good bounce, but then a couple that perhaps just kept a tad low. That has occasionally been the case over the years here at Radley. Only very occasionally. You'd expect it at any club ground where just sometimes the bounce can be a little bit unpredictable. So let's hope not for this T20. We'll see what it's like with real pace going through on it.
Yeah, it has been used though, hasn't it? So that might affect the pace of it. They often leave a bit more grass on it, groundsmen, as well, if there are 2 games in one day.
It's nicely run by Holden, just a single. Oh, he's gone over the top of it, but recovery made in the end. And that is the end of the first over. So 7 off it with the wide as well. Oh, we've got a speed gun for this one as well, just into the 70s. Woods, not quite the express pace to test out this surface just yet, but we'll see. 7 without loss it is. So yeah, it was a tight one earlier today. 97 posted by the Vipers. 3 run-outs for the team that finished top with a 100% record in their Charlotte Edwards group. Sunrisers bottom. Brad Will, who picked up 3 wickets down at the Aegeus, and Middlesex won by 10 runs in the reverse fixture between these two. Chase, by the way, it was a 1-wicket win for Sunrisers earlier. Into the final over it went. So a little bit of a low-scoring affair. 120, 130 it was felt was about par. For the men's game, I'm guessing that he'd probably push that up to around about 180, 190. Nicely times. Fielder's in the deep. Oh, slides over the top of it, Tom Prest. And he'll be disappointed with that one. That's the second misfield in as many deliveries we've seen from Hampshire. It was a really bobbly surface here a few games back.
Yeah, we saw a few misfields in the outfield here, actually. The game between Middlesex and Gloucestershire. It is a bumpier outfield than professional cricketers are used to. We're not, though. Us clubbies, we're used to it bobbling all over the place. I don't think it's quite up to the standards, maybe, of those who are used to playing at the home of cricket, Lords, of course.
Lords on Thursday for Middlesex. No stream for that one, remember. You'll have to tune into Sky or to the BBC commentary for that one. Cryer catch it, but that's gone. 4 more to Holden. He's on to 9. Third delivery. Good start from him.
Just threw his hands at the width, didn't he? Overcompensating wheel. He was a bit too short and straight the previous delivery. This time he went wide, and Holden got a good piece of that. He's in good form, Max Holden, at the moment. He was the most consistent batter in the championship, you'd say, this season, with 4 50s, 391 runs at 48. I think opening up as a T20 batsman is the place for him.
Nice looking shot, just the single. Yeah, I think the development of both of these two as T20 players has been huge for Middlesex and certainly helped them this season when you consider that they had Sterling and Milan as an opening pair to not so long ago, which would have been one of the better opening pairs in the country, despite Middlesex's woes in T20 and with the bat especially.
This is the man, though, that they'll really be relying on. The skipper, Stephen Eskenazi, got real pedigree in this format. Takes a single, gets off strike. He was the 8th leading run scorer in the competition last year. 2nd leading run scorer in 2020, Stevie Eskenazi. Hit his maiden T20 100 last season as well at Lords against Essex. And with no Owen Morgan, who I'm hearing is close to a return, according to Middlesex. That's good news. Maybe even the next game against Surrey. With no Morgan, Eskenazi is very much the main man with the bat.
Yeah, I think Middlesex have picked up on that a little bit with those last 2 defeats to Sussex. Again at Kent, the vast amount of T20 experience in both of those sides. Tamal Mills, Finn, Papara, the list was endless for Sussex. Huge amounts of experience. Very much a young-looking Middlesex side, and that's why I guess those 3 wins from 3 was so exciting for them. But T20 for any team, even the most experienced, can be a roller coaster. That'll be a no ball, I'm sure. Check from both the umpires, got away with it. Well, I'd say that was pretty clear, the look we had on the stream, but nothing doing, a dot ball and 10 off the over. 17 without loss after 2, Middlesex.
Yeah, a bit unlucky there, I think, Holden and Middlesex. It was a slower ball. Maybe that's something that the umpires took into account there. Didn't deem it to be over waist height. Yeah, good bit of news on the injury front for Middlesex. I mentioned there that Morgan will be back very soon. Apparently Tom Helm is also fairly close. It won't be long before a recall, it says on the Middlesex website. That's good news.
Curry it is, change of bowling from the pavilion end. Leg stump, Cry's catch. Oh, it's gone for 6. Wow, that would have been brilliant from Prests. That would have been stunning. He had one grab at it. It would have been absolutely superb if he'd have held on to that one. 6 it is for Eskenazi, though.
Oh, first of all, fantastic pickup. Look at the flick with the wrist there, just a flick. And this would have been like Paul Collingwood, wouldn't it? Against Australia, 2005, one of the one-dayers, I think, before the Ashes.
That's a very big pickup. 6 it is into the members. Steady it goes. Steady as he go in there. Did he catch it? Surely not.
Well, if he did, that's a decent grab. Lovely sound off the bat, this from Eskenazi. Didn't try to overhit either, did he? Just a lovely swing. Wide long on, can we see? Oh, couldn't quite tell.
Oh, look at that one go. That's what I was just mentioning about earlier. Jags back into Eskenazi, but yeah, comes and prods at the surface. Just be something to watch tonight.
I think bowlers will take note, won't they, on both sides of that delivery. Slower ball into the pitch, and it really bit. That could be the way to go for the rest of this game.
Width. There's a sweeper out though. And Whiteley does the fielding, just a single. Yeah, the game here last year, I was watching that side on that evening, and Cullen's pace was really troubling Vince, short of a length. The Gloucestershire match here, funnily the other day though, it was more a pace off pitch. That ball though, as you say, will really interest the bowlers tonight, how they go about it. No Blake Cullen, unfortunately, that back injury at the moment is going to keep him out for a long while. Just single again, 2 back in the onside for Curry. Holds it on to 11, 80 miles an hour. Anything 80 or above, I mean even 75 or so, I think it will test if there is a little bit in the pitch in terms of the bounce. A bit like Mercer at the nursery end at Lords, when he gets one to bounce up the slope, it just catches the batter by surprise slightly. Comes back in again to Eskenazi. Some real seam movement there for Curry. End of the third, 32 without loss. Middlesex haven't been put in.
So Curry pitched his first 2 deliveries up, went for 2 sixes, and then he cottoned on. I think 3 out of his last 4 were bowled into the pitch with pace off. We saw the off-cutter twice bite there. I think that's going to be the way to go for seamers. Looks like it's fairly slow pitch, conducive to the slower ball. Looks like Chris Wood switching ends here, coming in from the Salters field end at the top.
Quite a catch, but it was nicely guided by Eskenazi. You picked up on that 6, that flat 6 over, well, it wasn't that flat, but the way that he wristily played it over deep square. It's an extraordinary talent he has, the way that he snaps his wrists anywhere around the park to score runs. Very unusual technique. Just be a single into the covers. Have to be Sharps, the non-strikers then, but they are. It's backed up. Owen Shah, who's the T20 specialist batting coach at Middlesex at the moment. He was a very wristy player, wasn't he? In the way that he manufactured runs, snapped the wrist. But Eskenazi even more so, even by Shah standards. Eskenazi has an unusual way of manufacturing that ball to any given part of a ground. That's gone straight to mid-off, and Dawson takes the catch. Wood strikes in the 4th over, and Eskenazi into the 20s again. Only once as he dropped below the 20 mark so far this season, but it's not to be any more tonight for him. To the pitch of it, just high up on the bat, loops comfortably to Dawson. 34 for 1.
Big wicket that, big wicket for Hampshire. I think maybe Chris Wood just had a feeling that Eskenazi was going to come down the track there, banged it in short, and that hit high up on the bat, didn't it? Hit right on the stickers, got absolutely nothing on that. Simple catch for Owen Morgan. Sorry, not for Owen Morgan, for Liam Dawson, I should say.
It's got the same ring, hasn't it?
Yeah. Probably wishful thinking that Owen Morgan's coming to the crease, but it is Joe Cracknell, the coming man of Middlesex's T20 batting lineup, just 22 years old. Loves playing here, burst onto the scene here really at Radlett last season with 77 against Hampshire and then 67 against Gloucestershire. Very aggressive player from the now famous North Middlesex Cricket Club production line.
Yeah, they've set their standards high at North Middlesex, haven't they? Let's keep that going for a few more years. But he's been a real bright spark, Cracknell, for Middlesex last year and this. One of those Well, certainly in Middlesex terms, rare young batter who comes through, makes a big impact. 68 down at Sussex in defeat was a real highlight this year, trying to hold it together. Gonna take two. And well run. Appreciated by the well-populated members' pavilion away to our right-hand side. And here those are a pretty decent number in. You can see in the background there, gathered around the advertising boards. There's the temporary stands the camera's just panning to. Cries catch. You're going to take a single to short fine leg. He got a glove to it. Leg by signals. Leg by signals. Everybody went up and looked to the keeper. It was actually a good stop in the end.
I think they all went up because it went quickly to the keeper, didn't it? And that often suggests it might be an edge, but I think it was the right decision. Flicked off the pad. So Middlesex have started well, 9 and over, just over, but the one big problem is that key man, Eskenazi, is gone. Over to the younger men, Cracknell and Holden. And Morgan is a big miss, isn't he? Coming in that middle order. Might be Martin Anderson next. Might be John Simpson. You never know, although he tends to come in more at number 6. I feel that Simpson maybe should get a bit more time at the crease, given how well he played last year in the 100 and in the Blast.
Ball chipped. They'll pick up a single. It'll be comfortable enough in the end to mid-on. It was in the air for a moment as he pushed it back past. Vince doing the skipper at mid-on. Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, what Simpson did in the 100, and with Morgan's absence, that was what I was talking about in terms of that Sussex and Essex. Sussex and Kent. I'm thinking Essex because it was Bapara who saw the winning runs. Sussex and Kent, where they had that vast experience, particularly in the middle. Middlesex perhaps a little bit of inexperience in T20 terms in there. Nicely bowled, sliding across Holden. But yeah, without Morgan, it's not a bad shout to put Simpson up. He's often played the finisher role, which was Morgan's role for England, wasn't it? But they've tried Holman at 4 in the absence of Morgan. Anderson, as he said.
Jack Davies, I forgot about. Jack will probably bat number 4 in this lineup, I'd imagine. Talented young batsman.
Low full toss. Picked up nicely by Holden. Deep square back. And it bounces away over that advertising board. Job for somebody to go and find that into the bushes towards the railway. Lovely shot. Low full toss, but he still managed to get a nice sweet connection on it.
Got a slow ball a bit wrong here. I think just didn't come out right, did it? James Vince won't be too happy with that because generally they were just reining things back the last couple of overs. The Hampshire seamers, the 2 men out are square of the wicket, so don't really want to pitch anything up, do you? You want to bowl it into the pitch with this field.
As he does there, and nearly reward. Lifts through to the gloves. Bent his back a bit more on that, didn't he? Didn't quite show it on the gun, but you could really get the feeling that that one raced through a bit more.
Yeah, good carry from Brad Wheel. Surprised Max Holden.
It's a sweet shot that for 4 though, off the low full toss. Tom Helmer's on the mic the other day saying if you go for the Yorkie, you want to make sure you just go that little bit fuller than that little bit shorter because you don't want to be in the slot. And it is harder to hit away the low full toss. The ball, top ball slides across him. He's pushing it through, again just into the 80s. But yeah, from Holden, that. I mean, obviously the field's up, so you need just make sure you clear the infield and don't put it down the throat of deep square, and you're going to be pretty safe. But still, timed it nicely enough. Dangerous one playing across the line to a slower ball.
3 times he's gone past Max Holden's outside edge here, playing a cut shot. Brad Wheel.
Let's go down the ground with it. Doesn't get hold of it at all. Drops short of mid-off and mid-on. Just a single to end the over. 5 gone. Holden 17, keeps the strike, 43 for 1.
You need a new bat, Max, although I think that one probably saved you. That was cloth, wasn't it? Just heart would have been in the mouth, but thankfully he clothed it badly enough, so it didn't get anywhere near the 2 fielders. I think Richard Johnson will be reasonably happy with this start. 8 and a bit and over now, 8.5 and over. Just got to keep the wickets in hand, particularly on this pitch.
Always finds the funny side of anything, Richard Johnson, doesn't he? He's very level-headed, even in defeat, walks away. Or whether it's victory, enjoy that one, enjoy them all, he says. Good motto to have. He does just make sure they try and keep a level head. Nice Curry continuing. Nicely timed, fielder out at deep mid-wicket. 2 back, deep mid-wicket and deep square. Last over of the power play. But yeah, they'll be working out. Of course, this is a change of ends. I say continuing. Apologies, he has changed to the Saulsfield end. You might have just heard David Fulton on the mic. He was on the mic with his son the other day down at Canterbury. Did you see?
No.
Family day at Kent, so they got the Fultons to do the stream, senior and junior.
Was he any good, the youngster?
Better than his dad. That's not saying much though, is it?
They play together apparently. Apparently they play in the same cricket team, the Fultons. Play second team cricket for a club in Kent. Not quite sure which one. Try and find out. He's only in the next 10th over.
That goes up in the air. He hasn't timed it at all and gone. Cracknell's gone for 3. Dawson again. 44 for 2. And I reckon that Holden shot last ball of the previous over. The Eskenazi dismissal, and now this one. We just see him a little bit perhaps pace off on this pitch. It's quite difficult to judge for the batters.
Yep, you dig it in, take pace off. It's pretty hard to time. That was an even easier catch for Liam Dawson, wasn't it? So 2 important wickets in the power play for Hampshire. It's going to be Luke Holman coming in at number 4. Interesting. Get him in up the order early. 2 left-handers coming in, so they're not bothered about a left-right combo, Middlesex. Often you see sides try and keep it to a left-handed and a right-handed batsman. They've obviously seen something in a matchup. It's all about matchups now, isn't it? T20 cricket. And it's good to see Luke actually up the order. Good to see him being utilised in the first few overs of a game rather than having to come in at the back end and manufacture things. He's got a lot more time now.
Yeah, Holman came in at 4 in the match where Morgan went down with that groin injury against Glamorgan. But up until the other day at Canterbury, it's been a bit of a struggle. 4, 11, 7, 5, and then 29 not out at Canterbury. End of the over, 6 gone, power play done, 46 for 2. So Eskenazi into the 20s yet again. Only that 5 against Hampshire indeed, down at the Aegeus, the only time he's dropped below 20. Cracknell gone for 3 in that over as well. Dawson twice with the catch. Wood and Curry with the wickets, but Holden still there, who's gone 27, 40, 41, 5 and 12 in the last 2, but on 19 again here. And now with Holman at all left-handed pairing, I suppose with Holman, Davis, Simpson, and they only had left-handers as the option. Tom Prest, and a bit of spin immediately out of the power play.
England under-19 player, Tom Prest, saw him at the World Cup in the Caribbean.
Reverse sweep out straight away from Holden. And two's the call. Back they come. Very well run. 48 for two. It's 89 that they put on in the power play Middlesex, by the way, in that Gloucestershire match, wasn't it? Were you out at the under-19s?
If only had. I would love to have been there. I know a few people who were. Charlie Dagnall and a few others looked very good. England got to the final, of course. Lost to India in the final.
Gives himself room. Goes over extra cover. Lovely shot for four that. Long off and deep point coming around, but sweetly struck. And nicely placed as well by Max Holman.
That was just pure quality, wasn't it, from Holden? He made room for himself here. Look how he went back, showed all three of his stumps. Just a controlled, lofted cover drive. Didn't try to hit too hard. Interesting to see how Holden plays this now. He's very much the senior man left in the top order. He doesn't like to let the spinners settle, does he? He likes to get the reverse sweep out early, like we saw there. First delivery, can sweep as well. I think he's a good player of spin, actually, Max Holden. But he does need to stay there, I think. I don't think Middlesex will be too upset if he just takes stock for the next 3 or 4 overs. Make sure he's there after 10.
Looking for two. Holden has run it fast, and two they've got. It's good running. I think they've been very alert on that so far, Holden in particular. If it isn't going to be that kind of 229 pitch that we saw against Gloucestershire, as we've seen from the power play there, and certainly making sure they push the ones and twos quickly. Yeah, no. On that one, end of the 7th, 55 for 2. This is going to be fun for the commentator, isn't it? Especially if there's a run out. Holden.
Absolute nightmare.
Say it slowly. That's my mantra for this one now. Just go slowly through these two. I think I did have a Max Holman in there. Haven't had a Luke Holden yet, though. Nudge of the gloves from the pair. There's that well-populated stand in the background, which is good to see. James Fuller into the attack for the first time from the Saltersfield end. Former Middlesex man, came from Gloucestershire to Middlesex, off to Hampshire. Still with that very long run up. Nicely played again by Holden. Two more, comfortably on this occasion. We've played a fair bit of second 11 cricket for Middlesex. Fuller couldn't quite hold down that first 11 spot for Middlesex in his time at Lords. Holden still would have been coming through. Former England under-19 captain. He's still been coming through in Fuller's time. Oh, nearly. Cryer catch it, charged in.
Two noises there. I wonder if there was just a little feather of an inside edge onto the pad. That would have been a way to go, wouldn't it, if that had carried all the way back to Fuller. 83 mile an hour that on the speed gun, so he's quicker than he looks. You heard the thud of the ball on the pad there. I think he bowls quite a heavy ball. As you say, he's got this very long run up, hasn't he? And he's got a long run up, but he doesn't seem to generate all his pace from that. He almost just ambles in, and then it's a strong arm.
Yeah, exactly that. He's a fitness fanatic. James Fuller, used to see him on the exercise bike in the morning at the hotels at the away games. You're thinking, you've got a long day in the field today and you're on an exercise bike already.
He's having a decent season, actually. He's top of the averages with the bat in T20 this season, averaging 34, 137 runs, strike rate 137. He's also played 5 county championship games. Done okay, averaging 30 with the bat and 11 wickets at 29 with the ball.
crashes that. Gave it everything, Holden. He's into the 30s and really decided that that was going to get the full whack. Bit of width from Fuller.
Yeah, this was scythed, wasn't it? That was about as full-blooded as a cover drive can be. He did not hold back there. He just saw the length and went for it. 33 off 23 now, Max Holden. Good start, this. Back to a heavy length, Fuller. 8 overs done, 63 for 2. Pretty much 8 and over. We've got a little treat in here, a little present that's been delivered. Courtesy of Radlett Cricket Club. Thank you very much for our lovely tiramisus. What, there's more?
Do we tell the boys at the other end of the tent that they've delivered 4? Or yeah, okay. Don't tell them.
Wow. I think one of these, probably in the death overs, I'd say, the first innings, and then I might tuck it again about mid-innings in the run chase.
I thought you were going to say death by cholesterol.
Yeah, very apt. Liam Dawson into the attack. Very, very useful cricketer. No Mason Crane for Hampshire. Left out the side. So Dawson's the premier spinner, along with Prest.
Wide ball to start up. Gone spin twice from the pavilion end now. Dragged away. They can look for 2. Yeah, but they'll come comfortably. Good return throw. Oof, that was a nasty little slide. I think he's okay, other than just feeling the effort of it from Whiteley. Yeah, I think that's going to be crucial today. I don't think it's going to be the big hitting ground that we've seen so far, the big scoring ground that we so often see. Low full toss, just a single. So yeah, I think those 2s that they can find. And a small ground as well, so it won't be that easy finding the 2s. But that's the paradox of it, I suppose, that even though it's a small ground, sometimes when the pitch just isn't quite there on a club ground, all of a sudden getting that leverage, getting those big shots in is all that harder despite the small boundaries. But equally finding the 2s won't be easy because of the smallness of the boundary area.
Well, that's the issue here, isn't it? It's quite hard to defend because it is a small surface and quick outfield. How many does Middlesex need here? What the batsman will have to assess what they think is par.
Oh, well, I thought I heard a little nick on that. It must have just been the ball slapping into the gloves.
Tried to drag this from a long way outside off stump, Max Holden. Clear tactics from Dawson we've seen early in this over to hang it out there. There is a gap over cover. No man out on the boundary there.
Goes again with a step across this time, Holden. Trying to keep this scoring rate going. He's in though, 33 from 26. You do get the feeling that perhaps Holden needs to anchor it a little bit here as well, especially as we said with no Morgan, that experience in the middle order. The experiments of pushing Holman up to 4. Just a single down to long on. Come at the over with that wide first ball. So yeah, 68 for 2, heading towards the halfway stage. Saying in that women's fixture today between Vipers and Sunrisers, they were saying 120 par. I was saying that maybe end of the over, 68 for 2. I was saying that maybe you'd then push that to 180 for the men's game. But even 180 from here would be a fair old push, I think, for Middlesex.
I would say at this stage, Hampshire will be the happier of the 2 sides. Maybe not quite as good a batting pitch as we've seen here in the previous games at Radlett, but Still a place that's not easy to defend a score. I think Middlesex will hope to get at least 180, really. As you say, they're going to have to go some from here to get there. Wickets in hand still, though. That's the key thing. If these two can just keep it there for a while, you've got power to come. You've got the likes of Simpson, Green can give it a whack, Martin Anderson.
Quick single for Holden, he's 35. 85 miles an hour on that one, Fuller. I think he'll be the quickest on display.
Surprised, I must say, that he's clocked in at a good 5 mile an hour quicker than Brad Wheel, for example. Be interesting to see what Jason Behrendorff comes in at. Martin Anderson probably is around about 80 as well.
That was nicely ridden by Holman up towards the ribs, just drops the single. I think Hampshire have adapted really well today to the pace of this pitch, how to bowl on it. As you said, bowling it into the deck, taking pace off at times. Fuller able to crank it up, as we're seeing here as well. That was one thing Gloucestershire really struggled to do in that first game against Middlesex here at Radlett. Took them a while to work out how and where to bowl on this pitch. Slapped straight to mid-off and gone. Same mode of dismissal again. All three caught at mid-off or mid-on. Holden departs.
Yeah, 3 caught at mid-off. This was slightly different, though, because he got a good piece of this, Max Holden. Made a good sound off the bat. Hit hard and flat, just straight to James Vince. So that's a good time to get a wicket, isn't it, for Hampshire. Holden gone for 35 off 29 balls, 70 for 3. And he's replaced by another young left-hander, Jack Davies. Just 22 years old, Davies. Played pretty well in his first innings. 47 against Hampshire, actually. Middlesex beat Hampshire earlier in the season by 10 runs down at the Ageas Bowl. Davies top scored in that game. Not selected in the next game. With Owen Morgan there, obviously opportunities a bit more limited, but a good chance for him now. His third game of the season. Plenty of time to go, 10.5 overs. What's he got?
Oh, that's a beautiful ball, first up. Beats him all ends up. They thought he got the edge. Nothing doing.
Big appeal, wasn't there? And maybe a sound, but felt like he was very late on this, Davies. I'm not sure he did nick it. Keeper was convinced. Fuller fairly adamant as well.
It's nice from Davies. Just a single down to third, though. Yeah, he and well, Holden went well. He got 40 at the top, but Middlesex was struggling down at the Ageas. It was Davies with 47, Holden with 40, and then Simpson powered together 41. $163 for 6. Middlesex posted, as you say, going on to win by 10 runs. Holman on this occasion runs it down to the deep thirds for a single. 10 gone. Holman on to 9. Davis with 1. Holden gone in the over for 35. First wicket for Fuller. Halfway stage here, 72 for 3 on the live stream from Middlesex. And myself, Kevin Hand, and take you through the next 10 overs. Matt Kabir-Floyd.
Sun's just popped out, just a little bit. Still a lot of cloud around, but a couple of gaps in the sky where we can see lovely, nice light blue colour. And Middlesex need a good second half of this innings really to get up to a score that's going to be defendable. I think they need about 100 from these final 10 overs. Good fielding by the skipper Vince, got across quickly there. That's where the space is for Luke Holman. There's a man out on the boundary square of the wicket on the offside. There's a long off, quite a wide long off, but no one at cover. Oh, this might be a chance. High, straight to the man at long on and pounced comfortably by Ross Whiteley.
Yeah, he's got underneath it. And Middlesex, as he said, trying to hit out. Hasn't particularly worked for them, especially down the grounds. Holman, head dropped instantly, knew he hadn't got hold of it at all. Trap was set with long on back. Promoted to 4, Holman. Hasn't quite worked for him. Again, he's gone for 9. They have high expectations, that young 21-year-old. Not today, Whiteley with the catch. Dawson in amongst the wickets. Falls to a fellow spinner. Gone for 9 and 72 for 4.
Kind of felt like Luke Holman was in two minds there a little bit. Wasn't sure whether to try and go up and over the offside maybe, and just ended up scything it straight up in the air. So John Simpson comes to the crease. Someone who, as I mentioned before, I think maybe could have even batted a bit higher. He's been in great form over the last couple of seasons in white ball cricket. His white ball stock really rose last year, didn't it? He had a dream 2021, fantastic for the Superchargers in the 100, and then he made his England debut in ODI cricket, of course. Had a good series against Pakistan. Didn't have to do too much with the bat, but he was very solid with the gloves. A little bit of turn there.
Yeah, took apart his mate Finney in one of the matches in the 100, didn't he? I was listening to that one on the radio and tried to steer clear of the topic when Finney was on the mic in the game down at home a few weeks back, the championship. He admitted to it though. You do feel Simpson's key now for Middlesex. Again, Davis is one that excites them as well. Young batter, but all that experience of John Simpson.
Oh, big appeal! Just outside the line, I think. He's setting up a long way across his stumps there, Jack Davies, and I think that saved him on this occasion.
Yeah, it was tight, but I think exactly that, yeah. Good way outside. On the replay, even further outside than I first thought.
So the problem for Middlesex here is, because they've lost 4 wickets already, and that's the 11th over done now, 74 for 4, run rate just under 7. It's hard for them to just go hell for leather here, because you haven't got that security of lots of batting back in the pavilion. So difficult really to know how to play it. It's good that John Simpson's out there, vastly experienced. He can help Davies along.
In the 2 defeats so far, Sussex in particular, I think there was a period to consolidate, which perhaps they didn't take.
That's got to have pitched outside, surely. Good pace, though, again, from Fuller.
Yeah, sharp Fuller, isn't he? But as you say, pitching outside the line. Yeah, the Sussex match, they probably fell about 10-15 short of what a decent total would have been at Hove that night. Just didn't pace themselves through the middle of the innings well enough. At Canterbury it was a little bit different, to be fair, where I felt that they could have consolidated, but they were chasing 193. Nicely driven, but straight to the man out on the offside. I feel like
Hampshire have bowled well here after the first couple of overs. Eskenazi was given a couple of full deliveries that he hit over the top, one pick up for 6 and one hit down here to the members. But since then they've bowled to their fields, just back of a length generally. They've kept mid-on and mid-off up for the seamers, had the men square of the wicket on the boundary, and it's worked so far. Oh, then he goes for the Yorker. Perfectly executed. Surprise, Simpson there.
I think again, those consolidations, the one at Sussex more so than the one at Kent, I think the decision was just made, get going and keep going, because they're chasing near 200. So perhaps there isn't the time to consolidate. The observation was made that basically there were 2 collapses, back-to-back collapses, the 2 games.
Well, I think here it might be a case of cutting your cloth accordingly. Projected score might have to be brought back a little bit. I was saying before they want to get 170, 180 to have a chance. I think they're going to have to scale that down now. Maybe think more about 160.
Yeah, with the way those collapses happened, again, slightly different circumstances for both of them, or reasons.
Dug in short, full pace.
I think here, if they were to go at 6s for the next 6 overs, or maybe I was thinking 6 overs before this one, so 6s for the next 5 overs. Certainly getting them to around the 110 mark, isn't it? So 100 and...
That's not enough, I don't think, Kev. I think they're going to have to go more than that, even,
if they go,
even with 4 down.
If they go, but then for the last 3, and then launch. I'm just thinking of the nature of the collapses, the lasts.
It's good over again, just 3 from it. Good over from Hampshire's point of view. So 12 gone, 77 for 4. The problem is if they go 6 and over for 5 overs, they're only up to 107 with 3 overs to go. And you're going to need 15 and over or something like that to get up to a decent score. I think they need to be looking more at 8 and over maybe for the next 5. That'll get them up to, that's 40, isn't it? I'm just trying to do my maths here. That's 117. And then maybe you can look at, 35, maybe a bit more off the final 3 if you're lucky. No one's hit a boundary other than Stephen Eskenazi and Max Holden so far in this innings. That was almost the first boundary not hit by the openers. Good running, 2 there. That was hit really well by Simpson. It was half stopped by Joe Weatherly, I think, at cover. But that's an interesting stat, that. 1 4 and 2 6s from the skipper Eskenazi, 5 4s from Holden. No other boundaries. Oh, chance straight to the man at deep mid-wicket, and that's another hammer blow for Middlesex. John Simpson gone.
Yeah, they've got to be careful, Middlesex. Just drawing up those collapses from the last 2 games. I mean, it sat up for him, and he thought that he could use the power to get through it, but just wasn't able to give it enough to clear Fuller on the boundary rope. See, it was there to be hit if he could get that power and that leverage, just wasn't able to get enough on it. Could be a problem this, 80 for 5.
Yeah, you said it, Kev. This could be a problem. Middlesex have just got to be careful here. They've got to make sure they bat out the overs with the right batsman, stay there. But when you do that, unfortunately, you can't score as quickly as you want generally. Chris Green, the new batsman, played really well in this fixture last year. Got the side over the line with a very quick 30-odd not out. Different scenario for him today. Got Martin Anderson still to come. Interesting that Green's been sent in ahead of him. Toby Rowland-Jones as well. But they definitely need these two to get them away from trouble a bit here. Right-left combo for the first time in a few overs. We've had a couple of partnerships of two lefties. Just gives the bowler something else to think about. Oh, what a jaffer. That has turned. Just shaved the off stump. Very interesting that for the Middlesex spinners, and there are three of them. That was almost an absolutely perfect delivery. Green stuck in the crease. And that one's gone straight on. Almost pinned him on the back foot. Good bowling from Dawson. Really good bowling. His figures 2 for 10 off 3 overs.
Yeah, Middlesex, those 2 matches at Hove. Middlesex were 107 for 2 to 163 all out. 56 for 8 the collapse. Then at Canterbury from 53 for 1 to 106 for 8. 7 for 53 the collapse. That's why I just wondered at the moment, are they better just settling in for a little while than going for a big push later on?
I think you're right. I think now they have to. Now that they've lost Simpson, now it's a question of just making sure that the right batsmen are there for the final 3 overs or so, which will be these two plus Anderson. Try and do the bulk of the run scoring from here.
Yeah, I think when Simpson was there, if he comes off, then Middlesex could still be thinking, as you say, up to around, well, when he was there, up to nearly 170 or so. 7 out with 5 wickets left. They're going to have to be wary that they're not posting 130 or less at the moment, aren't they? So they've got to try and get to somehow.
Another one of these batsmen, Chris Green, he likes to get a long way across his stumps. Very adept at playing the pick-up shots of full-length deliveries, targets sort of wide, long on, round to cow corner. He's also got the ability to hit through the offside as well. Pulled hard by Davis. That's a boundary. Much needed for Middlesex. Perfectly bisects the man at fine leg and deep square leg.
Yeah, Davis really impressed. You mentioned that one appearance he had in the absence of Morgan so far, where he's really come off. Sweetly struck. 47 it was, only 14 and 8 in the 2 subsequent appearances that he's had, but he's a player that they believe at T20 can really achieve and develop and grow.
And deep in his crease, manipulates the ball well just for a single. That will give him some confidence. Fast hands there with that pull shot.
Yeah, exactly that. He's a scrapper as well, Davies. He'll be there for the fight, there for the battle. And again, it was at Hampshire where he helped that recovery with Simpson at the time it was. Simpson made 41. Holden had given it something at the top with 40. Davies 47, top scoring in that one. Oh,
again, might be another boundary. Beats the infield, and that goes for 4 off the back foot through the offside. So 2 boundaries and 3 balls for Middlesex.
Yeah, Green hasn't had much of a chance other than right at the death. So Martin Anderson, you're mentioning there, he's only got out of double figures once, and that was to 17 in the 5 innings he's had. Green, just cameos really, 16 and 22, but he's come in much further down the order, much later on. You're seeing the clean hitting ability that he has.
$11 off that 14th over. Just gives Middlesex a bit of hope they might be able to get something together here, make a run at a decent score. It's going to be Liam Dawson to bowl his final over. Goes back to hanging it outside that off stump. Clever bowling, because he knows that the left-handers don't really want to hit against the spin through the cover or over cover. And that was a bit quicker. Got his line and length wrong, but got away with it. No damage, just a single.
Just go back quickly to Anderson as well, and those collapses, putting it together. Once you're outside the top 3 for Middlesex this season, bearing in mind how well they've gone those first 3 matches. Hope it wasn't a complete disaster for them. Canterbury didn't go so well.
Might be 2. Green wants 2. I think it's on here. Comes back comfortably.
Yeah, once you go past the top 3, there have only been 3 innings of note all season. Morgan 41 against Gloucestershire, Simpson 41 against Hampshire, and the 47 we mentioned from Davis against Hampshire as well. They're the only 3 innings of note outside the top 3. Other than that, that Green 22 is the only other occasion that a batter's made more than 20 outside the top 3 for Middlesex this year. Something they've got to think about.
Oh, you know what Chris Green's done there? He's hit that bone on your ankle, I reckon. You know that bone that sticks out on the inside when you try and play a straight drive and you just skim it? It's really painful, that. It's almost a funny bone. Why do they call it the funny bone? It's not funny, is it?
It's not funny. They're going to have to rename it. Maybe because it's funny for everybody else, but it's certainly not funny when it happens to you.
Oh, he's bowled him straight through him. Middle stump out the ground. Liam Dawson will be happy about that. Kept a bit low perhaps as well.
Yeah, it's a blow. 2 deliveries you'll want to forget. Chris Green, the pain of the previous one, a different type of pain here. Off spinner done by the slow left armour, Dawson. And what a sight that is for Dawson to pop middle stump out of the ground like that. Wheels away in delight. Liam Dawson. And well, the Green promotion doesn't work either, as the Holman one didn't. They've tried to mix it up a bit, Middlesex, but at the moment it's a similar story. 94 for 6. Need Anderson to come off here, and he wants into double figures, as we were just mentioning, with that 17. Just aren't any other innings of note down the order for Middlesex outside the top 3, other than those 3 innings we mentioned and the Green cameo of 22. At Sussex, that was when he was trying to top it up at the end of that collapse.
The final ball of Liam Dawson's spell has been brilliant. 3 wickets he has so far. I think it'll be a question of just seeing it out, taking stock. Slip in, and Anderson's off strike. So 5 overs to go. Middlesex 95 for 6.
Dawson finishing with 3 for 14 off his 4. Brilliant from him. Picked up Holman, Simpson and Green. caught Whiteley, caught Fuller, and bowled, respectively. The interesting thing in the victory down at Hampshire was it was felt that the Middlesex spinners outspun the Hampshire spinners, which is a real rarity. That didn't happen against Kent. They were outspun at Kent on a slow surface. Looks like that could very much be in play again this evening.
It's well fielded. No, it's not. It's gone through. And that's going to be 2 for Anderson. Bit of a conundrum, I think, in T20 cricket, Martin Anderson. He's only played 16 games. We've all seen how talented a batsman he is in the 4-day stuff. 16 games. He's got a total of 118 runs. Highest score just 24, averaging 7.8. Just hasn't got going yet. Strike rate 95. I think there's a hell of a lot more to come from him with the bat in T20 cricket. He's a good striker of the ball. There's no reason why he shouldn't be a top quality T20 all-rounder.
And he's bowling really well this year as well. Really well. It's been wonderful to watch because batting has come to the fore for him in recent years. I thought that he should have played in the Blast year. I thought that he was having a difficult year with the bat, but actually the Blast would have helped him solve that. A couple of balls away out of the middle of the bat. I thought he'd been away, just take the pressure off where he was really struggling in the first class game.
His T20 bowling looks like it's definitely coming along. Tight but comfortable. Direct hit, might get some buzzers here. Yes, buzzers. Stump out of the ground as well. Do you know where buzzers comes from?
Tell me.
That was a question, I don't know. I don't know. No idea, I just say it. It's got to be a really it's got to be a really posh public school thing, hasn't it? It's got to be a boarding school. Someone shouted out buzzers one day and they just carried it on and the whole world adopted it.
I could hear Nick Gubbins saying that. Even into the Gubbins family, who will undoubtedly be tuned in.
Was it Nick Gubbins' great-great-grandfather who invented buzzers? Another tight one, but comfortable. Fuller's bowled well, hasn't he? Against his old side. 3.4 overs, 1 for 20 at the moment.
That after Denley hit a century against Middlesex the other day. Indeed, down at Hove on Friday night, Stephen Finn bowled extremely well as well. Point was made, so it's easier to pick a game where Middlesex won't be facing a former player.
Nice straight drive, but just can't beat the man at mid-off. He's the skipper, Vince. It's a rare length ball, really, from Fuller. He's bowled a really good heavy length. I must say, I've been surprised by his pace. Surprised he's a yard quicker than all of the other bowlers on show so far. He's really bowled a heavy ball. Yeah, back to that short length and almost chopped on. Anderson just bounced over the stump. Quizzical look from Fuller. It's a good spell though, isn't it? 4 overs, 1 for 21.
We're working out the definition of buzzers. Delighted to report that Matt Kabir-Floyd was taking full note, and he's the one that's going to take you through it.
I can't claim credit. Stephen Fletcher can claim credit. And Wikipedia. Chris Wood back on from the pavilion end. Gets a long way across. Come over to my side, says Jack Davies, just for a single. So, origin of the word buzzers, according to The Guardian, the font of all knowledge, it's possible a bullet in the First World trenches that missed the target was referred to as a buzzer. Therefore, in cricketing terms, a ball thrown at a stump that missed was also referred to as a buzzer. There you go. It's often from the military, isn't it, these sorts of things? Or it was Nick Gubbins' great-great-grandfather.
I'll just check my phone, see if they're tuned in. They probably are, it's just they've stopped to research buzzers for us. I don't know if Gubbins is at the ground today, is he, Nick? We haven't seen him here today, so he may well be tuned in alongside the family at home.
He had a great start to the season, hasn't he, in the championship. So just taking the ones, knocking it around at the moment, these two. Yeah, Nick Gubbins in the County Championship Division 1. 443 runs at an average of 55, 200s and 150. Leading run scorer for Hampshire, who started really well in the championship. They're second to Somerset, the only side that have won 4 games this year. But not really renowned as a shortest format player, is he? Gubbins didn't play too much for Middlesex, not in the Hampshire side.
It was in the beginning, had that wonderful pickup shot for length, which he put that shot away in first class cricket, and as a result put it away in T20 as well. I thought it was to his detriment because it was an amazing shot.
Pace off. Good over this by Wood, just 4 from the first 5 deliveries.
I asked Angus Fraser about it. He played it a few times for the Overtons at Uxbridge. It was an interesting encounter where he really took them on nicely. And yeah, just a length delivery of those big fellas for Somerset, departing for 6. Economy of movement and effort from him. Gus said he must just see it incredibly early. Obviously has good hand-eye coordination, but just sees it very early.
Oh, look at the whippage on that with the wrists. 2 for Davies. Still a good over though. 6 from it. 3 bowled by the veteran Chris Wood now. 3 overs, 1 for 17 for him.
Time's there now for them, isn't it, to get going. 3 overs left, 18 deliveries. I mentioned Anderson not coming off in T20. The other one that, for me, is a bit of an oddity that he hasn't got a better T20 record. Toby Rowland-Jones. I mean, he won't have had that many chances down the order, but been very few occasions for Rowland-Jones. 34 innings, high score of 40, average of 15. He's a player that so often in the championship sends the ball to all parts down the order, but it hasn't happened that often for him in T20. May well need to tonight.
Wheels back on from the Salters Field end. Was kind of in the slot for Anderson. Maybe a chance to get one away there. Missed out. So last 3 overs, or 2.5 overs now. What do Middlesex need here really to be competitive? I would suggest they need to get at least a 140. Anything underneath that is going to be very hard to defend. Maybe they can squeeze a few more out. They need one big over, don't they, from somewhere.
Yeah, they do. I think the time has come that it's just got to go now, hasn't it? Anything that comes their way. We've seen, I mean, Jaffa's a word we've used a lot tonight. There's been some really corking deliveries, spinners more so, but nonetheless the quicks have bowled well as well.
He's picked that up. But again, straight to one of the boundary riders on the leg side. They're just finding those guys on the boundaries at the moment. Need to get one in the gap.
I feel he's missed out on that one a little bit. Leg stumpish, half volley-ish. Anderson in form, I think. Perhaps he's clipping that with a little bit more confidence and enthusiasm.
Oh, a bit of cuteness. That's what they needed. Well executed that by Jack Davies. That absolutely raced away straight off the face of the bat. Went across his stumps. Had a very nice little lap.
Yeah, and this is where Davis, I think, they feel he could really come into his own. He's got a lot of ingenuity about him as a batter. I mean, look at that. That's cool. Really cool and classy from Davis. Down towards our commentary position.
Now he advances. Final ball for Anderson. Can he get one away here and really could do with the boundary of this final delivery? Noticeable that Wheel's gone full here, hasn't he? He's tried to go block hole. Might be an opportunity to bang one out of the park, straight down the ground. If he tries again, gets it wrong. Like that. Just like that. That's the power of the man, Martin Anderson. He's a really good timer of the ball. That's gone a long way.
Sat on top of the fence, I think we could see there at the end. Landed plumb on top of the fence and sat there as well. So hopefully they can recover it. They might need a little bit of help from the camera person. You might just see it in shot there. Sits in the top of the fence. That is exactly what you were talking about in terms of Martin Anderson. A fabulous driver of the ball. When that bat comes down on it, driving the ball anywhere through the V, equally through the covers and through square. There it is now. How are we going to relay that to those who are searching the bush over there to try and get it? They've gone for a replacement ball instead.
That's going to be wide unless something was got on that. Wait for the signal from Steve O'Shaughnessy. No, bat, bit of bat. And the keeper's down, Ben McDermott. I think he might have got one on the knee, perhaps. Yeah, looks like knee. Those are really nasty, those. When they miss the pad, the side of the knee. Even if it's a slow ball, doesn't matter. These balls are hard and they're going fast enough. Yeah, that's not good.
Just missed the replay on it. You can scrub back on the stream at home to have a look. We'll do so here and see what it looks like. He's up. He'll be key tonight. I think that whatever Middlesex chase here, the power play is going to be massive. And McDermott's been huge for Hampshire so far.
Down the track, hit hard. James Vince comes round from long on. They come back for two. Good running. Very good running from Jack Davies. Keeps Anderson on strike. He's starting to find the middle of the bat now. I do feel that Martin Anderson just needs one good innings, one innings where he's really contributed, and he could be away as a T20 batsman. He's got a lot more in his locker than he's shown so far. Short and pulled. There's protection out there on the short boundary, 2 men, and they restrict it to just 1. So Davies now, his chance to chip in with a valuable boundary or 2. 9 balls left. You think they've got to get up to 140 plus here, psychologically. Just give them a bit of hope. Saw what he was doing there. Mid-off was up, so was cover. Unfortunately, by coming down the track, he almost turned it into a Yorker.
Just managed to press pause on the exact moment. It was the right knee. As he turned it to face, it's hit flush on the outside of the right knee where there's no protection whatsoever for McDermott behind the stumps. Horrible for him. I'm sure he'll certainly be hoping he's okay to bat. He's okay to keep still, so that's a good sign.
For the wide Yorker. Might have been called wide had he not got something on that, Martin Anderson. So Wood's got one more delivery of his spell. 1 for 23 so far. Mid-off up again, so's cover. Can Davies target that area? Slower ball in the slot, pulled out the ground. Second 6 in 2 overs for Middlesex.
Yeah, wonderful from Davies. Another innings showing the potential that they believe Davies had. So they've wanted to get him in for a long while in all formats. Could be a big season ahead for him. He's in the championship as well. And has made some really useful contributions so far. One of the younger players that I think they'll hope can really forge a place in this T20 side and push them on in the next couple of years. I'm sure they will look to reinforce that middle order with a little bit more experience if they can, Middlesex, but Davis will be one of the players they'll look to build it around. Here comes the final over.
It's Brad Wheel. That's made a good sound off the bat, and that's gone for 4 again. That's beating the man at cow corner, bounced away towards the rail tracks. Middlesex just motoring at the end of their innings now.
Well, this is massive, isn't it? Massive couple of deliveries, 10 off the last 2. What can they do off the last 5? As you say, that was sweet, wasn't it? Saw Simpson trying to hit Dawson when one sat up for him earlier. Right, different the slower ball off of Seamer as well, but these two are just showing now that it is possible to get runs out there on this.
And again, only one this time. Oh, possible chance of a buzzer, but not taken in the end. Doesn't quite go far enough away from the keeper for them to do that. So it's over to Jack Davies again. Middlesex have taken 31 off the last 2.2 overs. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Just giving them half a chance, or a fighting chance, you'd hope, if they can bowl as well as the Hampshire bowlers have done. Slower ball, that's drilled straight. It's well fielded. You have to take my word from it, because sight screen was blocking our man there at long on, well fielded. It was James Fuller. Davies comes back for 2, so he's on to 33 off 25. Partnership now worth 46. Well bowled. Almost a perfect Yorker. Slower ball as well, 71 mile an hour.
We said 140 minimum, didn't we? So these last 2 deliveries could be huge. Get up to 150, it will be a real escape from Middlesex, I think.
Slow ball into the pitch. Quick single taken, that would have been out had Ben McDermott hit the stumps. Davies wanted to make sure he was on strike for the final delivery. Can he bang one out the park? Get Middlesex up to 148. That sounds a lot better, doesn't it, than 142. Where's he going to target? Third man's coming up. Long on, long off, back. Last ball. That's going to be out LBW. Slower ball, well bowled by Brad Wheel. That really dipped, didn't it, on Jack Davies. Really good final delivery, that. And he was salmon trout.
That's a beautiful delivery, isn't it? Last up, really is. Slower ball into the block hole. He's completely done Davis there. Plum LBW, as you say, gone for 34. But he's led a fine recovery there, Davies. He's scrapped his way through it and then salvaged some big runs at the end as well. 48 the partnership. 142 for 7. It's lights for Middlesex, but they've got something to play with, that's for sure.
Yeah, 48 off 31 deliveries. They really needed that, the home side. Without that from Jack Davies and Martin Anderson, this game may well be over at the halfway point. But as it is, 142, you've definitely got a fighting chance wherever you're playing. Just going to have to bowl really well here. I think they're going to have to learn from the way that the Hampshire seamers bowled. Took the pace off and bowled it into the pitch. And they're going to need some early wickets as well. Going to need to get James Vince and Ben McDermott out of there, because they broke the record for opening partnership for Hampshire in T20 in their previous game to get them over the line. Got 124 together. They need to get those 2 guys early, and then they will have half a sniff.
Yeah, I think Roland Jones back in the side is massive. He and Behrendorff opening up against Vincent McDermott. It's too simplistic to say that'll be the game, but I think that's going to play a very, very big part in where this game goes. And then the next look after will be how the spinners go, because the spinners bowled exceptionally well for Hampshire. But yeah, Behrendorff again and Roland Jones against Vincent McDermott. It's box office stuff to begin with.
Right, so Middlesex have made 142 for 7, means Hampshire need 143 to win this game at Radlett. We're going to get off the mic for 5 minutes, have our tiramisus, and then we'll be back, as I say, in 5 minutes' time to build up and start the run chase.
eToro lets me copy the trading activity of other traders.
From now on, whenever I make a trade,
I make the same trade automatically.
Join over 20 million users and start investing now with eToro.
Pioneer, adventurer, leader. It's an instinct to never stand still. Always striving, never settling. Why should investing be any different? After all, your investment challenges aren't standing still. So neither will we. Expect more with iShares.
Yeah, into my elbow. They went around like the knee. Come on, get dark as well. Let's get dark on it. No, it's not. Let's get dark on it. Get dark on it. Get nice and dark. Win them up then. They're running, they're running. One more piece done.
Oh, dear God, no one passes better. Oh, dear God.
Fucking hell. Well done, Jack. They're fucked up.
No, I don't know. I'll go straight in. Ciao.
Having a high ball. Man, you hold that pace, it'll skid on you. Fuck. Just stay quite a bit lower. Oh. I don't feel like I could have come forward to it, or you reckon I should have? In hindsight, yeah, but... Yeah. Did you call it again? Centimetre. Oh, good. It was centimetre perfect. Oh, you look lovely.
It's hard when you're setting, isn't it? On a tricky wicket to know like, what to do. Like,
we were going to 10. That wicket is fucking straight. Yeah. He'll take off for good. Hey, Johnny. Hey. I fell up. I could have. I mean, if you get out there, we're fucked.
Let's go to the floor, Jono.
And Shaughnessy, and here we are in the background. Evening all. And, yeah, it's going to be an interesting chase here. 143 the target for the Hampshire Hawks, who won the toss, said to Middlesex, go on then, show us what you can do on that. And one thing that Middlesex will take away is that they will know how to bowl on it, having seen the way that Hampshire bowled well, cutters and into the pitch. Dawson bowled exceptionally well. That may well play a very, very big part. Live and heart stream from Middlesex. Myself, Kevin Henn, Matt Kabir, Floyd as well. To take you through this one, it's going to be Ben McDermott, son of Craig, out to bat with James Vince. Who's it going to be to open up for Middlesex with the ball? Will they go spin in the power play? Nope, they're going to go straight to Jason Behrendorff, the Australian overseas. Be left arm over bowling to McDermott. Brief recap quickly on that first innings for Middlesex, which was indeed a disappointment, but topped up at the end, and well, showing that runs can be scored on it at the end. But I think as we muttered to each other in the commentary tent, that could be a problem though for Middlesex. This power play will give us a fair idea of where it's going to go. You know what McDermott and Vince will do. They'll attack from the off and try and take a big old chunk out of it. What can Middlesex and Behrendorff do to stop them?
Well, these two definitely the big wickets as far as Middlesex are concerned. Put on 124 in Hampshire's first win of the season on Saturday against Sussex at the Ageas Bowl, and that 124 was a record opening partnership for Hampshire in T20 cricket. Think of all the good size Hampshire have produced. Bit of swing there for Behrendorff, squared up his countryman McDermott, took a single. So these two definitely will be full of confidence, and if you don't get them early, could be a short night for the home side.
Be nearly match winning tonight, that partnership. 143, it's a modest total. Nice bit of shape again on that one from McDermott.
So a bit of debate, Kevin, about the term buzzers. We've done a bit of digging and we've been tweeted. Thanks for all your involvement. Here we go. Derek Payne is saying it's from the BBC website. The term buzzers is thought to derive from the old slang term for a pickpocket who targeted women, a mole buzzer. Batsmen steal a run or two while the opposition are distracted, hence the name buzzers. Johnny Blaine agrees with that. Old street slang term for a pickpocket who targeted women, a mole buzzer. If you look online, there's an article in The Guardian which says that it comes from the war, and it's a war term.
That's nice. Pace and bounce.
Yeah, so if you look at this Guardian article, it says that it's a World War I expression for a bullet that misses its target. We need to get the definitive answer on this, don't we? Does anyone know which is correct? Does it derive from the term mole buzzer, someone who targeted women, a pickpocket who targeted women by distracting them? Again, a bit of in-swing and a good heavy length as well from Behrendorff. Good first over that, just 2 scored. So is it derived from the term mole buzzer, or is it a World War I term for a bullet that misses its target? Anyway, we're getting to the bottom of a very important matter here, aren't we, Kevin?
One man who can't tell us is Nick Gubbins, but he is tuned in. Good to hear from you, Gubbo. It says evening to both. Up the Hawks. I can't have another evening of abuse from the Middlesex lads after their last win at Fortress Aegeus. Good to hear from you, Gubbo. Hope you're well. Salam Luita. He's going to bowl spin from the pavilion ends. It's an interesting move first up. It's interesting they didn't take on Berendorf in that first over. They did just try and get the pace of the pitch, these two. Will they allow Luita that time? And there's your answer. Annie Width. And it'll be given the treatment. We saw that with Tom Smith when he bowled his first over for Gloucestershire here earlier in the competition.
Gave himself room, didn't he, James Vince? Just created the width for himself. And we all know how good he is through the offside. Such a powerful driver.
That goes down the ground and all the way. 6 runs, long on back. So too quite a wide, deep mid-wicket. But Vince giving that the real treatment.